Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Tifany Adams? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Tifany Adams was born on October 31, 1969, and lived in Keys, Oklahoma. This is a small town 5 hours west of Oklahoma City. She had a son named Wrangler Rickman, who should not be confused with Ranger Rick, two completely different entities. Wrangler had been romantically involved with a woman named Veronica Butler, and the couple had 2 children. Eventually, something went wrong with the romance, and the pair separated. A contentious custody battle started in February 2019. Wrangler was able to wrangle primary custody, and Veronica had visitation with her children every Saturday. She was required to have this visitation supervised. Even though Wrangler is the one who had custody, Tifany Adams had preferences about how visitation should be conducted. She preferred a particular supervisor named Cheryl Brune. The court said that Tifany could have Cheryl as the supervisor, but she would have to pay. If Tifany did not want to use Cheryl, then Veronica could choose the supervisor and pay for them herself. In early 2024, Tifany had a boyfriend named Tad Cullum. Reportedly, Tad owned thousands of acres of land and was wealthy. Tifany was also part of a religious anti-government group called God's Misfits. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On Saturday, March 30, 2024, 27-year-old Veronica Butler planned on picking up her children consistent with her visitation schedule. Normally, Tifany's preferred supervisor, Cheryl, would have taken care of it, but on this particular day, Tifany said that Cheryl was unavailable. Believing that Cheryl could not supervise, Veronica contacted a 39-year-old woman named Jillian Kelly to supervise. The plan was for Veronica, along with Jillian as the supervisor, to pick up the children at 10 a.m. from the intersection of Highway 95 and US 64 in Texas County, Oklahoma. Veronica picked up Jillian from Hugoton, Kansas, and they drove south into Oklahoma. At 9:40 a.m., the women reached the intersection of Highway 95 and Road L, which is 5 miles north of their destination. The women never made it to the designated pickup location. When Veronica failed to bring her daughter to a birthday party as planned, her family started searching for her. They found her vehicle abandoned at the intersection and contacted the authorities at 12:09 p.m. Here's what the police found during the course of their investigation. There was blood on the roadway and on the edge of the roadway near where Veronica's vehicle was found. The women's cell phones were missing from the vehicle. The phones had last been sending signals to their carriers at 9:42 a.m. After this, it appears as though they stopped transmitting completely. The last person who communicated with Veronica on her cell phone was Tifany Adams. The police spoke to Cheryl, the woman who Tifany preferred as the supervisor. Cheryl told them that she was available to supervise that day, but Tifany canceled the supervision. It appeared as though Tifany had lied when she stated that Cheryl was unavailable. Tifany told the police that she called Veronica at 9 a.m. on March 30, 2024, to confirm that the visitation was on for that day. Veronica told her that something came up and she was not going to make it. So Tifany was trying to make it seem as though Veronica canceled the visit. The police were able to verify that this phone call did occur, but when it was taking place, Veronica was in Hugoton, Kansas, picking up Jillian. If Veronica wanted to cancel the visit, why was she with Jillian, the person that was going to be her supervisor? At the time Veronica disappeared, she was gaining ground in the custody battle with Wrangler Rickman. A hearing was scheduled for April 17, 2024, during which Veronica's attorney believed that Veronica would receive unsupervised visitation. Wrangler Rickman had an alibi for the time of the disappearance. He was in a rehabilitation facility in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Wrangler's grandmother, Debbie, told the police that sometime in February 2024, Wrangler told her that they would not have to worry about the custody battle much longer because his mother, Tifany, had things under control. Tifany would take out Veronica at a drop-off location, and she knew the route the judge walked to work. Wrangler told the police that he never had this conversation with his grandmother. The police obtained data from Tifany's cell phone and found some curious internet searches, for example, gun shops, how to get someone out of their house, prepaid cellular phones, and taser pain level. On February 13, 2024, over 6 weeks before Veronica and Jillian went missing, Tifany purchased 3 prepaid cell phones from a Walmart store. All 3 phones were active at the time Veronica disappeared and near where her vehicle was found. On March 23, 2024, 7 days before the disappearance, Tifany purchased 5 stun guns from a Big R store. Investigators learned about Tifany's membership in the God's Misfits group. 2 of the other members were named Cora and Cole Toomley. Cora had a 16-year-old daughter who was identified in court documents as CW. She had an interesting story to tell the police. CW said that on March 29, the day before Veronica and Jillian went missing, Cora and Cole indicated that they would be leaving the next morning to go on a mission. On March 30, they left in a Chevrolet pickup truck and a flatbed pickup. When they returned, CW was ordered to clean the interior of the Chevrolet pickup truck. When she asked what happened, Cora told her that things didn't go as planned, but they would not have to worry about Veronica again. Cora went on to explain how she, Cole, Tifany, and Tad murdered Veronica and Kelly. CW knew about other attempts on Veronica's life. She told the police that the group had planned to throw an anvil through Veronica's windshield while she was driving. They thought this would look like an accident because they believed anvils regularly fell off work vehicles. There's the sense that these alleged conspirators went to the Wile E. Coyote School for Hitmen. His homicidal tactics were also highly dependent on anvil-based weaponry. Tifany's boyfriend Tad rented a pasture in Texas County for cattle grazing. He told a landowner that he was going to use a bulldozer to remove a tree and bury concrete. The police tracked the prepaid cell phones to this pasture, where they recovered the bodies of Veronica and Jillian on April 14, 2024. The women had been buried in a hole. This was 8.5 miles from where Veronica's vehicle had been found. The police arrested 54-year-old Tifany Adams, 43-year-old Tad Cullum, 44-year-old Cora Toomley, and 50-year-old Cole Toomley. They all faced 2 counts of murder in the first degree, 2 counts of kidnapping, and conspiracy to commit murder. They could face the death penalty. At the time I am making this video, those charged in connection with the murders maintain the presumption of innocence. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. According to the police, Tifany Adams supplied them with a recorded statement in which she confessed to being responsible for the murders. All 4 defendants are seeking legal representation. Evidently, Cora is going with a public defender, but the other 3 are looking for private attorneys. It seems likely that these defendants will turn on each other. If Tifany really confessed, she's the obvious person to betray. The other defendants can make it seem like this was all Tifany. Item number 2. Out of the 4 defendants, Cole Toomley is the one who stood out as far as being active on social media. He has made several posts over the last few years, which express strong and, in some cases, unusual political views. A few examples. Cole appeared to be interested in the notorious Grande, Colorado killdozer incident from 2004. This case involved a man named Marvin Heemeyer who turned a bulldozer into an armored vehicle and went on a rampage. I have a separate video about this case. Cole did not appear to be a big fan of the FBI, especially how they had an interest in Donald Trump. He talked about how the FBI didn't possess a congressional charter to exist. Cole believed that the town of Keys was claimed for Almighty God through Jesus' name and insisted that nothing can stop what is coming. He was a big fan of traditional masculinity, did not recognize the sovereignty of the government, thought that weed killer was being put in beer, and maintained a pro-beef position. People can accuse Cole of many things, but not of lacking diversity in his belief system. None of Cole's beliefs are related to killing innocent people in order to get custody of grandchildren. It's not clear how the murders fit in with his ideology. Item number 3, what do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Tifany Adams believed that she was entitled to have custody of her grandchildren. Reportedly, she even argued with her son over keeping the children with her, even though he had legal custody. Tifany thought that murder would be a good solution, but she really didn't have the ability to kill on her own. Through her membership in a religious anti-government group, Tifany gained access to people who had a lot of enthusiasm, poor critical thinking skills, and were extremely gullible. This is a dangerous combination. Even though the group's ideology was unrelated to Tifany's concerns, she somehow convinced them that her lack of custody was the fault of the government. The group members joined her cause, but just like Tifany, they really didn't know how to carry out the crime in a way that would avoid arrest. They went to Veronica's house hoping that she would get in her vehicle so they could strike it with an anvil. During that encounter, Veronica never left her residence. This is why Tifany searched about how to get someone out of their house. Apparently, she had never heard of a doorbell or the idea of knocking on a door. Eventually, the group came up with a more direct plan that involved ambushing the victims and kidnapping them. They murdered Veronica to get custody of her children, and they murdered Jillian just because she was there. Now moving to my final thoughts. A major theme in this case is antagonism. It is not unusual for members of extremist groups to believe that they are fighting for some noble cause, as if the cause came first, then their anger arrived. In reality, it's often the anger that comes first, then the ideology is embraced in order to justify that anger. If the defendants in this case are guilty, this situation offers a prime example. Their belief system had nothing to do with a grandmother who wanted custody of her grandchildren. What does that have to do with poisoned beer, traditional masculinity, or a pro-beef position? The members of this group heard Tifany's complaints and found a way to fly into a rage. She supplied them with a purpose, and they supplied the antagonism. Her dilemma became their new mission. The discussions they allegedly had about killing the judge may have been a way to shoehorn Tifany's problem into their ideology. This way they could pretend that they were acting primarily as an anti-government organization. It's reasonable to believe that Tifany manipulated the members of the group quite easily. She wrangled control and ran them down the road to prison. This group felt like misfits. Now they've found a place where they can fit in. Those are my thoughts in the case of Tifany Adams. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.